Hi students, my name is Kinars, working as assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. Today I am explaining about air pollution. This is the one of the important unit in our subject of environmental engineering as a part of the unit 5. So enter into the detail. So first you don't know to know the definition of the pollution. So pollution may be defined as the unfavorable alternations of our surroundings wholly and largely a byproduct of man's actions through direct or indirect effect of change in the energy pattern and radiation levels and chemical and physical constitutions and abundance of the organisms is called as a pollution. So pollution simply meaning is it means the chemical or harmful substances which is released into the surrounding atmosphere that contaminates effect on the human health and as well as plants and animals, and as well as it creates a pollution. Coming to second one, that is pollutant. So anything living or non-living or any physical agent such as a heat or sound that in exists makes any part of the environment undesirable. So it means it is a cause or physical agent so which affect on the human health and as well as plants and animals, that is called as a pollutant. So in this image clearly shows about the what is the composition of air. So in this air, most of the 3 by 4th of the air nitrogen will occupy with the percentage of the 78 percentage, and remaining 21 percentage of the oxygen, and the remaining 1 percentage is the carbon dioxide and water vapor and other gases. So in this image air nitrogen 78% will affect on the to reduce the oxygen levels by causing of the pollutant agents. It may be creation by the natural agents or it may be creation by the anthropogenic agents. So coming to classification of the pollutants, first one is on the basis of the disposal. So pollutants are classified into two types. First one is non-degradable and second one is degradable waste. So in this non-degradable pollutants classified into two types and waste, and second one is poisons. So in this degradable disposal points can be classified into three types or two types. One is rapidly degradable and second one is slow degradable, and the second classification is on the basis of the existency in a nature. So there are the two types of pollutants are there. First one is quantitative pollutants and the second one is qualitative pollutants. So first one is qualitative pollutants, the substances which are already present in the environmental but it has termed as a pollutant when their concentration increases in the environmental. Example, CO2 is present in the environmental in a greater quantity than the normal, hence the termed as a quantitative pollutants. It means so there are there are several dissolved gases or several atmospheric gases are present in the air, so thus will affect on the active quantity. So it will also increase the so effective of the quantities. That means quantitative pollutants. Second one is qualitative pollutants, the substances which are not normally present in the environmental or added by the human being and rate of pollutions by nature. Examples are insecticides and pesticides. So qualitative examples are insecticides and pesticides. These are the causing of the farmers by using the crops and irrigation for the purpose. So farmers are by using the fertilizers and pesticides. It creates some nuisance to the environment, that nuisance in a qualitative nature. That's why that is called as a qualitative pollutants. And coming to next classification, that is on the basis of the form in which they persist, are classified into two types. First one is primary pollutants and second one is secondary pollutions. First one is primary pollutions, the substances which are directly emitted from the source and remain in that form of termed as a primary solutions. Example, smoke, fumes and ash, dust and nitric oxide and sulfur dioxide. These are all comes under the so created by the source without any external energy to create the nuisance. That are called as a primary pollutions. And the second one is the substances which are formed by chemical reaction between the primary pollutions and constituents of the environmental. Example, smoke and ozone and sulfur trioxide and nitrogen dioxide. So these are the these pollutants are caused by the chemical reaction between the two agents or two gases. So thus result in the so it creates a nuisance to the environment. Coming to definition of the our title, that is air pollution. Air pollution occurs due to the presence of the undesirable solids or gaseous particles in the air in quantities that are harmful to the human health and as well as environment. It simply meaning that so the air pollution may be defined as the some of the harmful substances or harmful agents which are released into the atmosphere, so thus effect on the human health and as well as environment. It creates a nuisance to the environmental and also it creates a respiratory problems of humans. And also it also creates a so rashes, skin rashes, and it also creates a lung infections, and also several impacts are maybe caused by the air pollution. So coming to in detail, so air pollution occurs due to the presence of the undesirable solid or gaseous particles in the air quantities that are harmful to human health and environmental. So these substances that are responsible for causing of air pollution are called as a air pollutant. These pollutants that are emitted directly from the identifiable sources are produced by the both natural events or human activities. This air pollution caused by the two methods. First one is natural events and second one is human activities. So natural means such as a dust storms and dust creations and volcanic eruptions and earthquakes and rainfalls and tornadoes. So these are the create a harmful substances released into the atmosphere. So second one is human activities. These human activities are caused by the deforestation and digging of the land and by using the many industries as well as large and as well as small industries and emission from the vehicles. So these are the causes of air pollution. Coming to next one, that is types of air pollutions. So in these types there are the two types. First one is primary pollutions and second one is secondary pollutions. First one is in detail primary pollution in detail. First one is sulfur dioxide. So it is denoted by SO2. So SO2 is produced by the volcanoes and in various industrial processes. Since coal and petroleum often contain the sulfur compounds, their combustion generates the sulfur dioxide, and further oxidation of SO2 usually in the presence of the catalyst such as a NO2 forms H2SO4 and thus they create a acid rain. So this most of the sulfur dioxide it is generated from the process of the volcanic eruption. Thus after time taken this sulfur dioxide it generates a sulfur dioxide, so which are coming from the coal and petroleum. It contains the sulfide compounds. And second one is nitrogen oxide. It is denoted by NOx. So this is especially nitrogen dioxides or emitted from high temperature combustion, and it is responsible for the photochemical smog and acid rain, etc. And next one is carbon monoxide. It is a colorless or odorless or non-irritating, but it is very poisonous gas. This gas is produced by the incomplete combustion of fuel such as a natural gas or coal or wood or vehicular exhaust is a major source of the carbon monoxide. So simply it means that the vehicle or releases to this carbon monoxide and is a byproduct of the natural gas or coal. And next one is carbon dioxide, CO2. So, greenhouse gases emitted from the combustion, but also gas vital to living organisms. It is a natural gas in the atmosphere. It is the combustion of the forest areas and it is the combustion of the coal and mines. So, thus result in the releases the carbon dioxide. And next one is volatile organic compound. It is denoted by VOC. So these are an important outdoor air pollutant. So in this field, they are often divided into the separate categories of methane and non-methane. So methane is an extremely efficient greenhouse gases which contributes to enhance global warming, and other hydrocarbons. Volatile organic compounds are significant greenhouse gases via their role and creating ozone and prolonging the life of methane in the atmosphere. And although the effect varies depending upon local air quality and within the non-methane volatile organic compounds, the aromatic compounds benzene and toluene and xylene are suspected carcinogens and may lead to leukemia through prolonged exposures. And next one is particulate matter. So particulates are alternatively referred to as a particulate matter or finer particles, which are tiny particles of solid or liquid suspended in a gas. The source of the particulate matter can be man-made or natural. Some particulates are naturally originated from volcanoes and dust storms and forests and grasslands fires and living vegetation and sea sprays. And by human activities such as the burning of the fossil fuels in vehicles and power plants and various industrial process also generating the significant amount of the aerosols. And second type is secondary pollutants. The particulate matter formed from greenhouses, gaseous primary pollutions and compounds in a photochemical smog. The smog is a very kind of air pollution. The word smog is a formative of smog and fog. The classic smog results from the large amount of coal burning in a area caused by the mixture of the smoke and sulfur dioxide. So in these secondary pollutants, water and the smog does not usually come from the coal but from vehicle and as well as industrial emissions that are acted in the atmosphere by sunlight to form a secondary pollutions that also combine with the primary emissions to form a photochemical smog. And second one is ground level ozone. It is denoted by O3. It is formed by nitrogen dioxide and volatile organic compounds. So ozone is a key constant of the troposphere. So it is an also important constituent of the certain regions of the stratosphere commonly known as the ozone layer. So in this layer, the photochemical and chemical reactions involving it drive many of the chemical process that are occur in the atmosphere by day and day night. So in this layer, so most of the nitrous oxide and volatile organic compounds, these are effect on the chemical composition. Thus the result in the it create a troposphere and stratosphere. So in these layers, ozone layer may will be depletion. So that is called as a ozone layer depletion. Coming to next one, that is source of the air pollution. So the picture clearly image shows the what are the sources on the Earth surface. So maybe natural or human generated emissions, and sometimes it may come from the winds, and sometimes it may coming to so deposition from the biological affecting on the natural resources and transport and chemical reactions which obtained from the various industries or various power plants or various chemical reactions. So thus effect on the again it is recirculated on the surface that will affect on the surface human peoples and as well as animals. And second one is anthropogenic source. So stationary stores include smokestacks of power plants and manufacturing facilities and waste incinerations and as well as furnace and other type of fuel burning heating devices. And second one is mobile sources including the motor vehicles and marine vessels and aircraft and the effect of the sound and etc. And third one is chemicals, dust and controlled burn practices in agricultural and forestry management. The controlled and prescribed burning is a technique sometimes used in the forest management, farming and greenhouse gases abatement. Fire is a natural part of the both forest and grassland ecology, and it controlled fire can be a tool for the forest. And fourth one is fumes from the paint or heavy sprays and varnish and aerosols and sprays and other solvents. And sixth one is waste deposition in land fills which generated methane. So methane is not toxic, however it is slightly flammable and may from explosive mixture with their air. So methane also asphyxiate and may displace oxygen in an enclosed space. And sixth one is military factors such as nuclear weapons or toxic gases and germ warfare rocketries. Coming to natural sources, dust from the natural sources usually large area of the land with little or non-vegetation. Methane is emitted by the digestion of the food by animals, example cattle, and radon guards radioactivity decayed with the earth crust. So radon is a colorless or odorless or naturally occurring radioactive noble gas that is formed from the decay of the radium. And next one is smoke and carbon monoxide from the wildfires. And next one is volcanic activity which produce sulfur and chlorine and as well as ash particulates. Thank you.